Well, it's that time again. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next expert, whose name is Patti Morrison. Patti is part of a panel of 11 experts who are each talking to you in the course of this two-day webinar on some aspect that is ancillary to your speaking skill development. And each of the aspects has a significant effect in and of themselves when it comes to helping you achieve reach and influence. But together, they capture tremendous synergy, and one complements the other and really does give you reach and high impact on the message that's important to you. Now over to Patti. By way of introduction, Patti is an international speaker. She is a coach, a trainer, and founder of imagestrategist.com. She has been transforming the way people look for over 25 years. Patti has 2 married sons and 5 beautiful grandbabies, all under the age of 5. Now that's what I call planning. She likes traveling, cooking, swimming, running, and she has recently taken up golf. Patti is passionate about people looking their very best. She loves creating fashionable wardrobes that match a person's personality, lifestyle, and budget. Patti has dressed over 3,000 men and women. Her latest book is called First Impressions, Dressing for Impact, and it is now a bestseller on Amazon. My fellow attendees, let's give a warm digital welcome to Patti Morrison. Over to you, Patti. Could we start with you telling us how you would like to handle your questions that you receive?
Yes, at the end.
You'd like to store them up and keep them at the end. So attendees, would you please post your questions in the Q&A box, but not the chat box. The chat box is for chat, the Q&A is for questions. That way we only have one place to look for your questions. Thank you. Patti, next question for you. Tell us all, why is image important? Why is how we look important when it comes to complementing our desire to have reach and influence?
Yes. Well, you can have awesome content and you can be an awesome speaker, but how you look is equally important, because whether you're speaking for business or for pleasure, how we look has a powerful impact on us and others. So, it affects how we feel. And if you had one of those days, when you get up, how you have an important event to speak at, you get up a little bit earlier, you spend a little extra time on your hair and your grooming, and then you go to your closet and you pull out your favorite outfit. And that day you just feel fabulous. You're confident, you run into people, you can totally be there for the people that you're with. And when you're speaking at an event, you have no attention on yourself. And then there's those days when it's not, you can't really think of really important things that are going to be happening. Maybe you're even just going to a networking event. So you spend a little less time on your hair and your grooming, and then you go to your closet and you pull out something that maybe you haven't worn for a while, or maybe it used to be a favorite, but now it's not quite fitting as well as it used to. But no matter what, it's not one of your favorite outfits. And that day, you find yourself like conscious of what you're wearing, adjusting your clothes. You run into people that could be an important client or somebody you haven't seen in a long time. But the whole day you're saying, why did I wear this outfit? And I think, from just talking to audiences, that seems to be a common thing that people have experienced. And the other thing too is that how you look has a powerful impact on other people. So, in the first studies say that like in the first 5 seconds, people decide if they like us, if they trust us, and if they can relate to us. So before we even open our mouth, people are deciding whether they're even interested in what we have to say.
Why is it that we in British Columbia seem to have gone the casual route?
Yes.
Whereas the rest of the world dresses for the occasion.
Yes. Well, I say in Vancouver, it takes very little to be above average. because I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later in the talk here, just explaining what the different categories of clothes are so that you can always be appropriately dressed.
Okay.
And, within the business world, with business, casual Fridays and that coming in, that's really a bit of a slippery slope, because companies call me in to upgrade the image of their employees because they find people are almost wearing pajamas to work. And then the people kind of go the lowest common denominator. So they seem to be the ones that are drawing people rather than other people inspiring them.
Yeah. And to my amazement, we in Vancouver don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Okay. Now, I have introduced you, but in your own words, tell us what your credentials are to being an expert in the whole field of image consulting.
Yes. Okay. Well, can I tell you a bit about my story?
Your story will probably capture the essence of why you're an expert.
Exactly. Okay. I'm just going to share my screen here, so I can just show you my PowerPoint.
Is it happening?
Yep.
It's just taking its time. It's Sunday. It's moving at Sunday morning pace.
Just like here.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Beautiful. I love the color.
Yeah, good. Hey, can I just show you a couple of other things? I just want to show you a couple of before and afters, because something I was going to say about how a lot of people come to me because it's very hard to be objective about yourself. And so a lot of people come to me for that, because you can ask your mom or your husband or your best friend, and they all adore you. But sometimes it's as hard for them to be objective about you as it is for yourself. And this is Nayli. She's a medical doctor who I met at a conference, and she was very excited about launching a new holistic business where she was going to get into the roots of disease instead of being like a medical doctor. And so she was feeling a bit dated, and she was going to be doing a lot of speaking and networking. And, she felt like she kind of was out of date with fashion, and she didn't know kind of even what stores to shop in. So we just did a makeover on her, and just got her a haircut, taught her how to do light, tasteful makeup in 5 minutes, and kind of went through the whole spectrum, what we were just talking about people's wardrobes. So, it used to be that we were just talking to people about speaking. And, speakers that were a lot more visible these days because of all the social media and websites and Facebook Live and people just catching you when you haven't planned to, go to a specific event. So this is just a very casual outfit. And this is another woman, Fiona. She came to me because I met her at an event I was speaking at, and she had just been given the Dress for Success Inspiration Award, and they wanted her to be their spokesperson. So she was out and about, and when she was going to be presented for this award, she said, I need you to come to my place and look and see what I can wear. So I kind of looked at what she had, and then we ended up getting her another outfit here. But I took her to my hairstylist, and we did the 5-minute makeup routine and put her in clothes that are suitable for speaking, because all solid colors and not such a distraction. And Fiona said, after having just had my hair cut and styled and a makeup application that was simple and easy to duplicate, and outfit chosen that were simple yet fashionable, I felt like $1 million. So I just kind of wanted to show you that this is, if people asked me, I think it was like 10 years ago, what would be like your favorite job in the whole world? I just said, I just want to do makeovers on people all day. So this is like what I get to do. But anyways, this is my story. So, growing up, I always loved fashion and clothes, and I liked having new clothes all the time. And we didn't have a lot of money in our family growing up, but fortunate for me, my mom was a sewer. So at the age of 7, she started teaching me how to sew on my grandma's treadle sewing machine. So here's me when I was 10. I'm on the right here in one of my fashionable, relatively complicated corduroy outfits with my 2 brothers and my sister. And this is me when I was 13. I entered the Eaton's teen sewing contest. So that's me on the right there with the knee highs there. And I just kind of squeaked in. And then when I was, the other thing I liked doing in school was like organizing things. So I always had systems for things. So after high school, the counselors there said, you would be really good at computer programming and systems analysis. So I thought, great, I'm going to go do that. And so I did that I went there and got my education at BCIT. And then I got my first corporate job. So I had to come up, it was quite stressful trying to come up with 5 different professional looking outfits for every day of the week, when all I had to work with was a student wardrobe. Of course, being a little tight for money with my student loans and whatever. So I would decide that, try everything on, have this huge pile of clothes on the bed, and before I figured out what I was going to wear. And so a lot of people tell me they've done that when I've first met them. And then I decide that I need to go shopping on my lunch hours. So then, I would go straight to the sale rack. And if I found something and I thought it looked good and it fit, the price was right, I thought I found this bargain. So then I'd take it home, and I'd realize that I didn't have anything in my wardrobe to go with it. So then I'd go out shopping again, and I'd buy more bargains, and I had less things to go with it again. So then I thought, being a computer programmer, systems analyst, I should be able to put together a system for my wardrobe. So I would read fashion magazines. I'd look at what other people were wearing. I'd study the mannequins in the store windows, and I'd figure out that there's quite a lot of details that goes into putting together a wardrobe. So pretty soon I got quite good at that. And my sister particularly, and some of my colleagues wanted help with that. And so I had helped them, and I was having a lot of fun doing that on the side. And I thought, wow, there's a real market for this, because a lot of women have the same kind of problems, especially if they don't like shopping and they just need to look good. So one day I opened a women's clothing store. And so my goal when I opened the store was to be able to dress every woman to look amazing. So I'd read a lot of books on style, and because I was always surprised when somebody would walk in at the store, and then what would look good on a couple of other people didn't look good on that person. So it was kind of figuring out what looked best. And so one day I heard about this #1 image strategist in North America, and his name was Robert Ponte. So I wanted to be certified as an image strategist. And when this man walked onto the stage, I was just blown away. Being the #1 image strategist, you would expect his appearance to be impeccable. He had like every gray hair in place, and he had like this beautiful charcoal suit and burgundy belt and burgundy shoes. And that wasn't the thing that impressed me the most about him. It was how he viewed people. And he told me to picture every person as if they were on the front cover of a magazine, not necessarily a fashion magazine. It could be Time magazine or People magazine, but looking their absolute best. So I started doing makeovers for his workshops that he was doing. And then working with him completely changed the way that I ran my business. So in my store, when a woman would come in and want to buy a blouse, then I tell her to go home and bring back the rest of the pieces from her wardrobe. And then we put together to make sure everything kind of went together. And so I did that. And then after 13 years, it was time to close the store. So then I could start my own consulting business. And so after that, then after that, then just recently I wrote my best-selling book, First Impressions, Dressing for Impact. And in this book, I put the tools and strategies and systems that every person needs to know to actually build a wardrobe that matches their personality, their lifestyle, and their budget. And, I realized when I was meeting with clients that I couldn't tell them everything, like the whole philosophy and how to shop and all those things. So I put everything in one book. And so that's the book here. And then I also put together a certified image strategist training program. I train people to be successful image consultants, and I give them all the tools that I've put together to take people through a 7-step makeover system.
Well, that certainly establishes your credentials as an expert. So now could you take about 30 minutes and give us some basic training?
Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you is the 3 keys to making a great first impression. So the first is determining your personal style. The second is ensuring that you're appropriately dressed for speaking, and how to pull your whole look together, because it's all about the polish. So the first one is determining your personal style. And the reason it's important that people know what their personal style is because when you actually get clothes that match your style, you feel comfortable in them, they suit you, you're wearing the prints that you like. There's certain things that people like. And so your personal style is based on your body and facial features, as well as your personality. So sometimes people have a main look and a secondary look. So we're going to go through the 4 personal styles for women and the 4 personal styles for men. So this is kind of a quick overview. The 4 for women are chic, elegant, glamorous, and spicy. So the first look is the chic women. So this is Barbara Streisand, Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep, and Sarah Jessica Parker. So just a moment here. Okay, so the chic woman likes some details to be a little different, kind of a twist on the classics. She prefers more of an eclectic look. She likes her look to be interesting and intriguing, and her accessories are often smaller and understated. And she doesn't want her clothes to be the center of attention. And the colors she wears and the prints are quite subdued. This is actually the most sophisticated and complicated of the 4 different looks. Also, when I'm going through these, see if you can find out which characteristics you kind of resonate to. And as I was saying, if you find you're a couple of different ones, then it might just be that you have a main look and a secondary look because your personality and your body shape and features might be a different style. So this is like the elegant woman here. So this is like Kate Middleton, Angelina Jolie, Princess Di, and Jackie Onassis. So elegant women, they like clean lines and simplicity. They look best in solids and neutral colors. They're attracted to classic styles. They wear relatively few prints. They prefer their hair to be structured as opposed to like the messier look. And the elegant woman really cares about the details. And a real telltale is that if you're a person who's actually happy to wear the same outfits over and over, as opposed to a glamorous woman who she'd be horrified if you said we had to simplify and make her wardrobe smaller, because she actually enjoys having lots of different kind of outfits. And she'll often take one accessory out as she goes out the door. She likes her look to be a bit simpler. And this is the glamorous woman. So the glamorous woman, this is Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Lopez, Sandra Bullock, and Julia Roberts. So glamorous women are often the most adventurous in fashion. And they like wearing bright colors, and they love glitter and shine. They have a fun and approachable personality. They love reading fashion magazines. This woman likes shopping on her own, and she needs more clothes than the average person. So I always say to glamorous women, a lot of times they're apologizing for how many clothes they have and how much they don't really want to get rid of things because they're always putting new looks together. But I tell them, no, you're a glamorous woman. You're supposed to have more outfits than the average person because you're like the inspiration for fashion. And a lot of women we see in the checkout counters are glamorous women. Okay, and then we have the spicy women. Okay, I'd say these are like my fun friends. I'm sure you all have them. You might be one yourself. So this is like Bette Midler, Rihanna, Tina Turner, and Christine Aguilera are examples of spicy women. So these women, they love to laugh. They have a great sense of humor. And they're a bit on the outrageous side. They can wear bold colors and prints, including animal prints. And they like unusual hairstyles. They don't really care what other people think, and they don't actually sometimes even care about what other people think about fashion. They kind of make their own style as they go along. And this woman loves to be the star of the show, and she may have been a tomboy when she was younger. So that's a very quick overview of the 4 looks. I have them in more detail in my book, and of course, when I work with people, I go into that and make sure that they understand their style so that when they're shopping, it actually helps you avoid making clothing mistakes because it takes out all the things that you shouldn't be looking at. So I'm sure you've all had that experience with a salesperson, very well-meaning, or a friend, and you go shopping with your friend or whatever, and you end up having things in your closet that would probably look better on them, but you don't really feel comfortable. And the more confident you are about your look, the more you can direct people to actually help you. So let's look at the 4 looks for men here. So the 4 looks for men are distinguished and classy, the sharp and athletic look, the urban sophisticate, and the wild and fun look. So we'll start with the distinguished and classy look. So this is, the distinguished and classy man here. So he likes, George Clooney, of course, but he likes clean lines and simplicity. He exudes a feeling of wealth and importance. He prefers and looks good best in solids and neutral colors. He likes classic styles, and he likes his hair to be more structured as opposed to the messier look also. Okay, this is the sharp and athletic man. So this is Matt Damien, and this man has a fun and approachable personality. He exudes confidence and gets attention. He looks best in solids and neutrals. He has an athletic build and prefers to wear comfortable, casual clothing because his body moves and it's very fluid. And he's comfortable wearing bright colors. And a lot of the top models and movie stars for men fall into this category. Okay, then we have the urban sophisticate. Okay, and this is Adam Levine. So his look is intriguing and interesting. He can be adventurous and daring in fashion. He incorporates the latest trends most easily. And he's actually comfortable with trendy hairstyles. And he wears eclectic combinations. He loves shopping on his own. A lot of the men I work with, they like shopping the least. Even though a lot of my women clients hate shopping, men hate it even more. And this is the most sophisticated of the men's looks. So this is the wild and fun look. And this is Will Ferrell here. So this man is unique and unpredictable. He has a great sense of humor. He enjoys being the center of attention. He's comfortable in bright colors, and he often breaks the fashion rules. Doesn't really care about the fashion rules a lot of times. And so the next thing I'd like to talk about is how to ensure that you're dressed appropriately as a speaker. And this is where, Roger, you and I were just talking about, I was saying through the whole spectrum of your day's activities, you actually want to be dressed well because you want to be consistent in how you look. So the best way to do this is to divide it into the 6 categories of clothes. So what you need is a little capsule of clothes in each one of these categories. And depending on what your lifestyle is like, you have bigger capsules in certain areas. But for sure, every single person needs to have one outfit that's a favorite outfit in every one of these categories here. The 2 that are highlighted are the business casual and presentation. So pay attention to that for your actually speaking outfits. So the first one is the sporty activity. So these are specifically designed, these clothes, for sportswear, for exercise. And what we see in Vancouver is a lot of people are wearing these clothes like they exercise and then they keep wearing them the whole day. But really, the right way is to only wear these clothes for exercising. Then we have weekend wear. And so these are for like casual on the weekend, or when people who are working a 9 to 5, if they come home in the evening, they change into this, or just their casual kind of weekend wear. So they're less structured. They're made of washable fabric so that you can, I always say, you can cook in these kind of clothes and not worry about getting them dirty. You can move in them. You can sit on the couch and watch TV. And that's definitely weekend wear. So if you have a little capsule, you can still look great even when you're at home. A lot of times people tell me, it doesn't really matter. I just need the clothes for when I'm going to work or going out. But I say, like, the people you love, your family, your friends, these are the people that you're going to be spending a lot of time with. So it's good if you had a little capsule of clothes that you like to wear, because weekend wear is less expensive than your more structured clothes for other categories. So this is dressy casual. So, we had sports, we had the casually smart, and then the dressy casual, the weekend wear, and then dressy casual. These are the 3 casual categories. So this is like a little dressier if you're going out to meet a nice meet your friend at a nice restaurant, or going to a friend's house for dinner, then nicer dinner. And so these clothes are a little more structured. They're still, sometimes they can be dry cleanable. And often a third piece is the key to making people's wardrobes work. A third piece is like the piece that you put over top, like a jacket, a cardigan, a vest, that kind of completes your outfit. This is what I find is lacking in a lot of people's wardrobes, because it's the most expensive piece in your wardrobe. But, I say have few clothes, buy really good quality, buy clothes that are durable so you can wear them for years and that you can mix the coordinates up. So this, you can see you probably wouldn't sit on the couch wearing these kind of clothes. So that's a good, this is a very good way to decide if it's weekend wear or if it's more dressy casual kind of clothes. So those are the three casual categories. And now the next three are the little more dressier ones. So we're going to look next at business casual because, you know, it used to be in Vancouver, or really any place in Canada, really, the presentation used to be the look that we had for for business, for work, for presentations. Now, business casual is very acceptable. And sometimes presentation can be even a little overdressed. So it really depends who you're going to be with, depending on what kind of category you're going to wear there. So let's look at business casual. So you can see these two women's jackets here. These are very important because for business casual, a lot of times it's the jackets that you're going to be changing that are going to be the difference between whether you look professional or whether you look like you don't really have the proper wardrobe, even though you're an awesome speaker and you have great content. If you don't look the part, then people find it, you don't look as believable. So, and it's much simpler to dress for men, I have to say. You know, they have less styles to choose from. They have less shirt collars. They have less colors. They don't have all the prints, the necklines, the fabrics that women have. So I just thought it might be good to put this all in a little picture here. So this could be like a business casual for men. Okay, and then here is the presentation. Now, see the presentation, it's dry cleanable fabrics. It's usually a matched suit. So a jacket and skirt for women, jacket and pant for women. And then men, it's always like some kind of it's definitely a suit too. And then I wanted to show you, the elegant evening is the other category too. For women, I always say, you know, the biggest thing you can do is make a mistake rushing out to the store to buy something for an event you have to go to. And some women even tell me that they just don't go to events because they don't have the right thing to wear. So you always want to have like one dressy dress maybe, or an outfit that you can wear to go to, if you're going to go to like a black tie event or a wedding. And then if you just have a number of different tops, then you can go to a house party or whatever. You won't look like you're wearing your work wear or your weekend wear. To go to the party, you'll look like you actually respected the host and took the time to get ready. And then I want to show you this for men, for the evening wear. So business casual for men, see, it's always this kind of a sports jacket. And then for men, for presentation, it's a matching suit. But men can also wear this matching suit or tux for elegant evening. It's kind of easier for them. So then the third point of how to look great for being a speaker is to pull your whole look together. So here we look at the things like the hair, the makeup, facial hair, grooming, things for men, and accessories. So I just wanted to show you that very few people wake up and look fabulous when they get up and just walk out the door. And most people who come to me, they say to me, you know, I just want wash and wear. I just don't want to spend any time. But I always say to people, you have to put a little bit of time in to look good. Because look, even Jennifer Lopez, you know, if you passed her on the street, she'd be invisible. You wouldn't even notice her. And I realize these people all have entourages of people helping them. But just doing a little tiny bit with your hair and makeup. And I always say, you don't have to know how to groom every person on the planet. You just have to know how to do your own hair. So if you don't know how to do your own hair, no matter what age you are, you can learn. And I have people that help teach you how to actually use the right products. And, you know, it starts with a great cut. And so then you can look like her. Okay, and so I want to show you a few people here. So this is a woman I met from Seattle who came up, and I attended one of her events she was speaking at. And she works with high income people, and she helps them with investments. So she was going to go to 50 states in 50 weeks. And she was saying, I've got one outfit I'm going to wear. I'm taking a backpack and this is how I'm going to look. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. So I was kind of brave and went up to her and said, you know, I think you need to look like what you're selling. And you're obviously an expert. And so she came up here for the day. And so we did a makeover on her. And now she looks affluent and creative. And, you know, if you were sitting there listening to a speaker, who would you rather listen to? Who do you think looks more interesting? You know, it's like you could look at, you know, a vase of dandelions, or you could look at a vase of beautiful, huge bouquet of flowers. What is more inspiring to you? So I find a lot of people say to me, look, I just don't have my hair is really thin or whatever, and I can't do anything with it. And so, I'm just showing here how, the hairstylist actually cut her hair, and it still looks longer and fuller. So a lot of it's product. And I have a ton of women who have thin hair who look fabulous. They look like they have lots of hair. And see, then we changed her glasses too. And see, that makes a big difference too. She looks so much more youthful. And then we changed her clothes. And really, I still gave her a little capsule of 6 items that she could take traveling. And she has lots of different looks, and see, jewelry and everything is just so much more richer looking. She looks like she has money. So you actually listen to her. If you had money, you'd think she'll know what to do with it. And now makeup. This is another critical point here, because a lot of times women come and they either haven't done it or they're really bored with their makeup routine. And I say you need to get a makeup routine once a year and just learn a couple of new colors, a couple of new techniques, because it's kind of boring doing it. I find maintenance is very boring. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, yes, I get to have a shower, do my hair, my makeup. Nobody does this. I mean, maybe some people do, but nobody I know. And so this is a woman, this is Claire, and she is an author and speaker, and she's just launching her latest book called Achiever Fever. And so I just did a makeover on her. And so, I find this a lot with women where they have like long hair, but they pull it back so it doesn't actually frame their face. So we just did a makeover on her, and see, just having a nice cut, and then having light, tasteful makeup, and changing her accessories to make them very simple. And, I always say that with scarves, I look through people's wardrobes, they have tons of scarves, usually like 1 or maybe 2 or none work. But you need like a couple of scarves that look fabulous. And a lot of times it's just you have the wrong scarf. It's not that you don't know how to tie it. Okay, so this is like her light, simple, and you buy metal before you buy color with accessories. It's just, then they can kind of go with everything. There's like 10 basic accessories that everybody needs that will accessorize every outfit. Because I find a lot of times people just they got lots of accessories in their accessory boxes, but they don't have the few they need to make every outfit work. So for accessories for speakers, keep your jewelry very, very simple. Avoid jewelry that moves or makes noise, because it can actually, the microphone can pick it up. Wear a simple watch and bracelet, and wear metal. Don't wear colored accessories, and wear 1 ring per hand. I always tell women, pretty up your hands. It just looks great. And you don't want to be wearing scarves and things like that. Of course, these are the basic rules. We can always break the rules once you know the rules, but these are just kind of general guidelines.
Patti, can you give us an example of jewelry that moves?
Yes, like dangly earrings or necklaces that jiggle or earrings that jiggle.
Okay, thank you.
I wish I could show you some here. Okay. Okay, now eyewear. This is the most important accessory. I always say to people, it's not like you have to wear glasses. It's you get to wear glasses, especially in this day and age. Because, I find for men too, it's men don't have as many choices of things they can do. Like sometimes they can't, hair, they don't, as they get older, they can't change their hairstyles and colors and their makeup. Of course, they don't need to, of course, but with glasses, it can be very impactful. And I have a lot of men that actually know the power of glasses. And so, if they're in negotiations or whatever, they have glasses, even sometimes they don't even need them, but they have glasses just for the impact of them. So, they can be awesome. Even when you don't do your makeup perfectly, and you get up in the morning, you put them on, you look fabulous. So here's a woman, I used to do a full page makeover series every week in the North Shore News. And so this is a woman that came that wanted a makeover. And, she told me that she had these glasses, which a lot of people do. They buy these ones that they think are invisible, but there's no way to dress in a neutral way, because even the absence of style says something about you. And a lot of women just can't be bothered to color their hair anymore. So they want to go gray. And sometimes it works fabulous. Gray hair looks fabulous on even some young women, but sometimes not, because it can actually age you 10 years if you go gray at the wrong time. So this is makeover we did on her, and she actually was a redhead before too. So we did her hair red and glasses and makeup and clothes, and see, she just looks so much more vibrant. And then this is Stella. She's a successful architect in the city, and she came to me because she just felt out of touch with fashion. She was buying quality clothes, but she was feeling kind of matronly, and she was going into a new season in her life, personal and business-wise, and looking for a particular job. And so we did her hair. She also another person who has kind of thin hair, so we made her hair look amazing. And we just changed her glasses a bit so they weren't so generic looking, and we gave her a current clothes and reproportioned her body. Because a lot of people tell me that they're waiting till they lose weight before they get new clothes, but really clothes can reproportion you. You can instantly look great, and then the weight can be a separate issue. I find sometimes when you look fabulous, it motivates you to lose weight, and if you don't lose the weight, it doesn't even matter. You still look fabulous. So this is Stella's new look, and what I love is people actually maintain these looks. So this is like a couple of years later, she still looks fabulous. She just needed to have the skills, know how to get the product for her hair, get the right stylist, get her eyebrows done, just where she has a couple of different pairs of glasses now and really good earrings. Her look is quite chic. So, she had a lot of dangly kind of things, but this is like more of a corporate kind of a look, and, jacket that's chic, kind of interesting. And notice the bracelet, like it's all the little tiny details. And the top she has on has a tiny bit of detail too. So it's all these little details that give you a really great look. Oh, I want to show you this eyewear too. I just got Joe. He's wearing these glasses. They're quite generic. You see a lot of men wearing this kind of look. You meet him, nice guy, looks wonderful. But then when he actually has glasses, you notice his eyes. When you have good glasses, you actually feel like you can kind of relate to the person. And this is another example. I was going to show you a facial hair. An older man, we're having facial hair. He's not really old, but anyways, well-groomed facial hair, because, we're noticing a lot of facial hair with men. It's very trendy right now. So a lot of young men, it's great as long as they keep it really well-groomed. But as men get older, it's better to have no facial hair or perfectly groomed. Good. But the studies show that actually the biggest impact is no facial hair. So that's just good to know. So if you determine what your personal style is, then you'll only have clothes that actually suit you and that you really love wearing. And then ensure that you have the appropriate outfits, not just for speaking, but for your lifestyle. And, no matter what your budget is, you can have a short-term shopping list and a long-term shopping list. That's what I put together for people, so that it doesn't matter. It's everybody can start right away. Either they get it all handled right away, or they just add it in pieces over the seasons. And then completing your look. So getting a good haircut, products, grooming, makeup, learning how to do that, light, tasteful makeup, short amount of time, and then accessories, having those basic accessories that make it that you can accessorize any outfit. So if after listening to me, you feel like, there's a couple things that you're missing, I say, please invest in what you need. Because if you invest in your wardrobe, it's a small investment for a great gain. The thing about it is people don't see your house, your car, your kids, your family, the people you love. They only see you. So, it's not nearly as expensive as all those other things. So you can invest a small amount and it can impact every area of your life. Okay.
So my next question of you is of course, your segue into making us an irresistible offer. Everything you have taught us is absolutely intriguing.
Okay.
Particularly those of us from the West Coast who are used to casual.
Yes.
Now, I know you have programs that will allow us to go in depth. So maybe it would explain those to us.
Yes.
Make us an offer that we can't refuse.
Okay, good. Okay, well, the first thing I want to say is that I have a free 30-minute signature style consultation. So that we explore what a makeover would actually look like for you. Everyone's kind of different. Some people need like everything done, and some people just need a bit of polish. And you also get an objective opinion from an expert. And also I can answer any of those questions that you have.
Is this on by phone, on Zoom?
On Zoom. It can be by phone if people are more comfortable with that, but I also do it on Zoom too.
Okay.
And then I give you tips and
then of
suggestions
course
about,
you get to see the skin tone and the
yes,
current style of the client. Okay, great.
yes. So the thing about my job, it's very visual. Okay, and then tips and suggestions for grooming and clothes. Okay, so then I have a professional branding package. So this that I'm offering is a special price to the attendees. So this is it includes a personal style assessment. So we look at every area of your appearance, including hair, makeup, clothes, how you want to look, what issues you have now, and so that we have a complete list of exactly what it is that you need help with. Then it includes a makeup consultation and makeup application and hairstyling tips. And then I connect you with my whole network of people. So depending on what you need, I specialize in people's wardrobes, but I have hairstylists, makeup artists, estheticians, photographers, videographers, whatever, to help you with your whole presentation look. And so then we also do a wardrobe edit and review. We shop for wardrobe and accessories. We make a list of exactly what you need, a short and long-term list. We make sure your outfits are all coordinated so that they match your personality and lifestyle. And we look at shoes and leg wear, because that's sometimes an issue for people too. And then we take photos along the way just for fun. And so you have you can see yourself in lots of different along the process. And then this also includes a professional photo shoot with Anita Alberto, which is fabulous. And we photograph lots of outfits, and then you have it for your website and your social media and personal ones and whatever. And so much more. So that's my professional branding package. And so that's at $10.97 instead of $12.97. And then I also have an online makeover package. So this includes this is all done by Zoom. It's a personal style assessment, a makeup consultation. So basically I'm telling you how to do this, and hairstyling tips. And then I kind of walk you through all that. And then we make sure that you have the 10 essential wardrobe items that you need to maximize your wardrobe. Because I find a lot of times people have a lot of clothes, but they don't have those main pieces that can give them, I just used to do a little workshop where I showed people how with 10 pieces in their wardrobe, they could get 25 amazing outfits. And so I find lots of people have more than 10 pieces in their closet, but they don't have the 10 essential pieces. Then you also, in the online, you get my objective opinion on your clothing items and your outfits. And I give you a wardrobe and accessory shopping plan based on your personality, lifestyle, and budget. And then we look at your shoes and leg wear. We do this all on Zoom. And then I answer any specific unique wardrobe needs you have, and then help you tell you where to go to get these kind of things, and so much more. So the 30-minute signature style consultation, the professional branding package, and the online makeover. So if you go to imagestrategist.com and click on the schedule your call, and then just mention the special webinar pricing, and then I'll get back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you. This is very generous. Well done.
Good.
We have a question from Peter.
Uh-huh.
When I Googled for best clothing for male TED speakers,
yes,
the hits said dress down in black. Lots of guys in jeans came up. What are your thoughts, Patti?
For professional speaking, yes. Well, I always say, the simplest. Okay, do you want to know like the simplest look? Black pants, a sports jacket, and a shirt the shirt and the pants in solid colors, and the sports jacket could be quite simple. You could also wear a suit. We had a couple of men when we did the TEDx talks wearing suits, but it's actually probably better to have more of a business casual kind of a look.
Okay,
and no tie.
What about your thoughts on jeans? Men in high profile speaking situations like the TED stage wearing.
Yes. Okay, if you wear phenomenal looking jeans, like they look like dress pants, and they probably cost what dress pants cost too. If they're a very, very dark jean color or black, great. That can work. But I find a lot of times it's like what happened when they went to Casual Fridays. They said people could wear jeans, but then they were just wearing the jeans that they'd wear, working in the garage. So they have to be fabulous jeans. And I'd always suggest if you're going to go that route that you actually get help with it. Because, especially when you're doing like a Get Inspired talk or a TED talk or whatever, you want to look your absolute best. I'd say always wear a dress pant. if I were you, unless you have phenomenal jeans. And, you know, the clients that I dress, they have phenomenal jeans. They could wear them on any stage. Steve Jobs, right? Always wore jeans too.
Okay. If I had Steve Jobs' money, I would feel that I could wear anything I want whenever
And
I
look
want.
at, all he wore was a black shirt, a black sweater, and black pants.
That's right. It became iconic, didn't it?
Yeah.
Now, a question of Terry.
Mhm.
As a sailboat coach, I have a uniform that we wear on the boat, and that is working for me.
Uh-huh.
As a speaker,
Uh-huh.
I could show up in Sailing Athletica. I could do the black business casual. Is there a way to tie together the way I present myself at sea with the way the other speakers are dressing?
Yes. Okay, so it doesn't mean, you know, there is a uniform for speaking. There's a lot of variety in it, but it's a special uniform. Is this a man or a woman? Do you know?
Terry's a man.
Terry's a man. Okay, great. Okay, so no matter what, he has to wear a jacket. The thing is, he could bring out his personality and bring out his casualness. He's probably somebody who'd want to wear a dress jean and maybe a shirt that's a little more, he doesn't want to look too dressed for success, too corporate. He needs to look approachable and fun, and but he doesn't want to change the look. He doesn't want to look too casual. He shouldn't be wearing like weekend wear, because you don't have the credibility. You get credibility with the jacket, especially for men. There's so much authority with a jacket, and for women too.
Okay, now follow-up question from Terry.
Yeah.
And is that answer, the one you've just given,
Yeah.
for the difference for speaking on stage as opposed to a podcast interview? Well, let me, Terry, a podcast interview is not video. It's not visual. So it's all in your voice. And maybe, Patti, you're reading something else into Terry's question?
Oh, did he say that? So he's not talking about, yeah, I think maybe he's talking about a webinar like what we're doing right now.
Okay, all right.
Maybe.
So let's pretend he means webinar as opposed to a webinar interview.
Yes. Okay. So I think it depends who he's talking to too. You know, if he wants credibility with, if he's trying to like get people to hire him, I wonder what he'd be doing. Or if he's just trying to give out information, he could just wear a great bright colored shirt. That would look fabulous. You know, that brings lots of energy and puts him kind of into his, you know, his field. But if he wants credibility, you know, he can't look like he can't be out in the, you know, on a boat, right? He needs to look like he's kind of, you know, matches his lifestyle. So I think it's so simple for men, right? It's either a jacket or not a jacket, and having the right shirt. Okay. He's not going to wear a t-shirt. He should definitely wear a collared shirt.
Okay. Now, question from Cal. Do we know the background color of the stage yet? His question is referring to the stage of Vancouver Get Inspired on October the 20th. And the answer is directly behind the speaker. The background will be black. To the left and right of the speaker, the lighting will be consistent with the Get Inspired branding, which is pinks and purples. But the video will pick you up with a black background. And I think so. So, Patti, question to you: given the black background, what do you have any tips for what the men and women speakers for the Get Inspired event should avoid or should gravitate towards? Yeah,
that's very interesting. Black's probably the hardest to be against, because black always works, right? Especially when you're building a wardrobe or you're having you want to be able to use the same outfit over and over, because black on black, it's going to be hard to see the outline. Might have to be like a charcoal or color or, you know, anything but black probably. It's a very good point. You have to kind of think about that for sure. That's really important.
Okay, great. So as soon as I have more information on the color black or the fabric, I will let you know, and then you can guide your clients.
Great.
All right. We have a few minutes left. We have 10 minutes left. Are there any further questions for Patti? Or Patti, do you have any other comments that you would like to make? I have a question. And
Yeah.
in Vancouver, when you guide people towards something that's a little more formal than the casual they know, like, and love,
Uh-huh.
do they fight you? Do they push back? Or are they okay to go towards more European style of dressing?
You know, the thing is, unasked for advice is often taken as cloaked criticism. So, you know, I'm very careful if I go up to people and tell them that we should change something. Most of the people that come to me, they actually want the help. But, you know, everyone thinks they're totally open until you actually start working with them. And then everybody does have their considerations and their things that they like or not. So I'd say, yes, people tell me that, but when I explain to them, you know, it's pretty straightforward, right? About the 6 different categories. So if you want credibility, you have to dress in the appropriate uniform for that particular category. You know, it's like, yes, you can wear whatever you want, but if the studies show that people aren't going to, you know, kind of relate to you or like you or trust you or whatever, then you have to work even harder for them to get past how you look.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you.
Oh, another thing, Roger, a lot of times I find people don't know where to find the clothes. And sometimes they have never thought of investing in good quality casual clothes. Because if you're in a tech field or whatever, and, you know, creative field, and you need to have more casual looking clothes, you can't buy $10 t-shirts. You know, you have to spend more to get the look and the style. But if you were going to spend them in the, you know, years ago for your business wear, then you just put your same kind of business money into your casual clothes. So I think a lot of times it's just a matter of spending a little more to get the look in that category, and then making sure that what you buy, if money is an issue or you just don't want to maintain a huge wardrobe, make sure that you shop with the clothes in your wardrobe and you actually make sure everything goes together. Otherwise, you know, it's even the same with footwear. You know, there's 3 pairs of footwear that people need. And most people have a ton of shoes, but they don't have the 3 pairs they need to make all their outfits work. So a lot of times they're not wearing things in their closet because they're not complete. And, you know, you don't want to be rushing out to buy 1 shoe to go with 1 outfit. So that's sometimes where you need help to know what are the basic shoes I need, you know, and everyone has considerations. You know, some people have foot issues and can't wear heels, but there's solutions to everything. Everyone can look fabulous.
Great. So Patti, we have 7 questions in 7 minutes.
Okay.
So the first one is from Candace. Do you work specifically with all the speakers? When do we start doing that with you? I think Candace is speaking from the perspective of a Vancouver Get Inspired speaker.
Yes.
He wants to know if you're going to work with all the speakers, and when does that process start?
Yes, I do work with all the speakers. I'm meeting with you many times during the whole process so that we can go through the process. And some people need more help and some people need less help. But I work with every area of your appearance so that you look fabulous when you're on the stage.
And let me add, so Candace, you need to retain Patti's services in order for her to start working with you. So you might want to start with this 30-minute free consultation, see if you and Patti are a good fit.
Yeah.
Next question from Cal. Should one avoid shoes with a loud sole, S-O-U-L, when you are speaking on a stage? I think
what's that?
Let me answer that.
Yes.
As the producer.
Yes.
On the stage, you will be walking to the carpet, which is a large red triangle. You will be walking over wood. Then you'll be standing to deliver your talk on the carpet. So really the whole question of a loud sole is really a moot point. There's no creaking or squeaking that's going to happen or matter on the carpet. And walking to the stage, if there is music going on, and there's probably clapping going on, nobody hears a shoe squeaking anyway. So
hey, Roger.
Why don't you add to that?
Roger, that's great. You know, this is like when I work with people and we're getting eyeglasses. I care how things look and they care how they fit. And you're thinking about how they sound. I thought he was meaning loud as opposed to making a statement kind of shoes. So if that's what you meant, like shoes that are loud, they look fabulous or whatever, it all depends. Everything is like, we have to kind of look at everything, but men don't have a lot of choices in shoes. So if your look is more casual, your shoes may be the highlight. I tell women, probably don't make your shoes the highlight, because we want people to look at your face, and you know what, you can only have so many accessories, and sometimes if the shoes have too much impact, that's like 2 accessories, and then you don't have enough. From the waist up is where you want the attention. So
okay, question from Candace. I'm thinking I may need to buy something new, but I'm not sure and would like your opinion, given that we now know about the stage colors.
yes, then we need to do that 30-minute signature style consultation. Just go to schedule a call on my website and put your name in there, and I'll get right back to you.
Question from Lawrence. I have a ton of clothes in my closet for when I get skinny. Should I just chuck them? Will I ever get skinny enough?
Okay, there's nothing more depressing than having clothes in your closet that are somebody else's clothes, which is kind of what you have when they don't fit. I tell people that if there's certain things, if there's some things that you will just love to wear if you lose the weight, or they have sentimental value, put them in a bin, but get them out of your closet, like save them. But generally, you know, there's a whole realistic thing of, will you ever wear them, right? And you have to get them out of your closet so you see what you actually have to work with.
Question from Mark. Hi, Patti. As an inspirational composer and speaker, preferring a casual, natural look, would a black t-shirt and indigo jacket work? Do I need a button shirt? Would you suggest a more casual look, perhaps?
Is he talking about if he's speaking on a stage?
Yes, he's talking about speaking on stage.
Okay, he maybe could wear a t-shirt with the right jacket, as long as there's enough contrast and you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say without seeing, but yes, there's always a place for a t-shirt.
All right.
And fabulous jeans. If you're going to do the jean thing, you have to make them. I can't say that enough.
Okay, so Mark, I think your interests are best served by taking advantage of Patti's 30-minute signature style.
Yes, please do, Mark. I'd love to see what you're talking about.
All right, and there are no further questions. I normally need okay, there's one that found its way into the chat box. I normally need very few dressy casual outfits, but on trips home to Ontario, I need 14 of them. How do I manage this? Bracket, I like to look polished when I see my family and friends once a year.
Yes, very few outfits. You know, there's a way you can have a little capsule. You have more tops that go underneath your jackets if you're going to have dressy casual. But there's, you just have more shirts, more t-shirts, that kind of thing. And then because it's the jackets and the pants that are the most expensive in your wardrobe. It's not the t-shirts and shirts.
Great. And that wraps us up. Patti, on behalf of our attendees, I thank you very, very much for sharing your words of wisdom with us. I've learned a lot. I've become more aware, and I'm certain the audience has too.
Good.
So, thank you very, very much.
Good. Thanks for having me.